Christine Woolley and her husband David are showing fans a whole new side of themselves, and it's got everyone talking. During a TikTok live show hosted by David's daughter Kody, the couple opened up in a surprisingly fun and lighthearted chat. Kody, who's quickly becoming known for her confident journalist-style interviews, turned the live stream into something fans didn't expect. She played the role of interviewer while Christine and David sat back like celebrity guests, laughing and answering questions about their life together. It's a completely different energy from what we see on Sister Wives. Instead of tension and drama, there's comfort, warmth, and genuine happiness. Kody asks her questions like a pro, and the couple answers with that easy chemistry fans have fallen in love with. Viewers can't get enough of this new dynamic. For years, fans have watched Christine navigate heartbreak and independence. Now she's relaxed, joking with David, and fully in control of her story with her stepdaughters supporting her like family. It's cute, it's genuine, and it proves one thing. Christine's chapter with Kody may be over, but her story is only just beginning. Do you think Christine and David should keep doing more TikTok lives with Kody? Fans seem to love this side of them. What about you? During the live, Kody didn't hold back. She asked Christine and David one of the questions everyone's been wondering. Do they ever actually talk about Kody in real life? Christine's answer was short and clear. No, they don't. She said they only talk about Kody when they're on set, usually when producers bring him up or when the storyline calls for it. David agreed right away, saying that outside of filming, Kody's not a topic in their home at all. That little moment caught fans off guard. The way they casually mentioned the set made people realize something. This reality show really does have a setup. When Christine said they talk about him only on the set, it almost sounded like she was separating their real life from the show entirely. It's interesting, isn't it? TLC sells Sister Wives as a peek into their real day-to-day lives. But hearing Christine and David use words like set and scene makes it sound more like a job. Like the Brown family's world has stages, scripts, and camera-ready emotions. Maybe that's what Christine and David are tired of, being stuck in that old narrative. Out here in their real life, they've moved on. But when the cameras roll, they have to revisit a past they've already left behind. Christine didn't sugarcoat it. She actually said that she hates talking about Kody, and she meant it. During the live, she explained that she got upset at the tell-all because of how the producers pushed her with questions about him. She was furious, frustrated that even after everything, she's still being asked to relive it. It's easy to see why. While Christine is out here trying to live a peaceful, happy life with David, Kody's been busy talking to the press. During his press tour for Special Forces, he called Sister Wives a negative experience, claiming the show was filled with too much trash talking and negativity. He even said that his time on Special Forces was life-affirming. That hit a nerve for a lot of fans, and clearly for Christine too. It almost sounds like Kody's trying to rewrite the story, painting himself as the one who's moved on, when in reality, Christine's been the one doing the hard work to rebuild her life. It's a strange twist. The man who spent years tearing his family apart now says Sister Wives was the problem. Not his actions, not the favoritism, not the emotional distance, just the negativity. And honestly, that's the question fans can't stop asking. If Christine hates it and Kody hates it, then why are we still here? Why is Sister Wives still happening? It's almost ironic. Both of them have said, in different ways, that they're done with the show. Christine's over the constant questions about Kody. Kody's over the so-called negativity. Yet every season, they're both pulled right back into the same cycle. Interviews, confessionals, and tell-alls that reopen old wounds. Fans are noticing the disconnect. The people who claim they're tired of the show seem to be the same ones who can't stop being part of it. Maybe it's habit, maybe it's a contract, or maybe deep down it's still about control, about who gets to tell the story first. Whatever it is, it's starting to feel like the audience is the only one still invested in finding closure. Everyone else just looks exhausted. But here's where things start to get a little complicated and honestly kind of ironic because just a few weeks ago, Christine released her brand new memoir. And it's not just any book, it's already a New York Times bestseller, climbing the charts and drawing attention everywhere. The book covers a lot of ground: her childhood growing up in a strict polygamist household, her early days with Kody, the struggles of balancing sister wife dynamics, and of course, the moment everything changed when Robyn entered the picture. It's emotional, honest, and filled with moments that fans have never heard before. But let's be honest, the heart of the memoir is her life with Kody, the story of love, disappointment, and rediscovery that played out in front of millions of viewers. And that's what makes people pause. Because in that recent TikTok live, Christine was crystal clear that she hates talking about Kody, that she's tired of being asked about him. Yet her biggest professional success right now comes from a book that's built around that very relationship. It's not hypocrisy, though, it's humanity. There's a huge difference between being forced to talk about Kody under bright studio lights and choosing to write about him on her own terms. Christine didn't write that book for ratings, she wrote it for release. The words were hers, the memories were hers, and the healing was hers. The timing makes sense too. She wrote the memoir more than a year ago, long before this latest round of filming and interviews. It was her chance to finally speak without interruption. No producers, no setup questions, no one telling her what angle to take, just her voice. So, yes, the book talks about Kody, but this time it's not about him. It's about her freedom from him. That's the difference.
And honestly, one thing that's been bothering fans lately is just how forced some of the Sister Wives reunion moments feel, especially during the latest Tell All. If you watch closely, you could almost feel the tension through the screen. The host, Suki, kept pushing for some kind of reconciliation, asking Christine, Janelle, Robyn, and even Kody about coming together as a family again. But for viewers who have been following the story for years, it didn't feel genuine. It felt like the show trying to squeeze out a happy ending that just isn't there anymore. Suki kept asking things like, would you ever all get together for the kids? Could you ever see everyone being friends again? And you could see the discomfort in their faces, especially Christine's. It wasn't just awkward, it was painful. The wounds are still fresh, and pretending they can all sit around a table again like nothing happened doesn't make sense. But when you step back and think about it, that kind of scene is exactly what TLC wants. The network knows that a broken family doesn't sell as well as a healing one. They want the image of unity, even if it's not real. The kind of emotional arc that gives viewers hope for a big reunion. But the reality behind the cameras tells a different story. Now, production has gotten complicated. Each wife lives in a different place, has her own family, and her own storyline. So when TLC films a new season, it's not one set anymore. It's four. Four crews, four filming schedules, four locations, and a lot more money spent trying to piece it all together. And that's why fans are noticing a shift. The show doesn't feel as close or intimate as it once did. It's stretched thin, and the emotional connection that made Sister Wives work in the first place is harder to capture when the family barely speaks off camera. The truth is, TLC might be trying to force a happy family reunion, not because it's real, but because it's cheaper. A single storyline is easier and cheaper than chasing four separate lives across the country. And here's where things get even more interesting. Because if you know anything about how reality TV works, you know that time is money, and so are crews. Back in the earlier seasons, filming Sister Wives was simple. Everyone lived close to each other, usually in the same city, and the production team could capture everything in one place. But those days are long gone. The Brown family is scattered across multiple states now, and that means the logistics have turned into a nightmare. Now, every storyline comes with its own travel plan. There's a crew that has to fly out to Flagstaff to film Robyn and Kody, their main storyline. Another crew has to head over to Lehi and Salt Lake City to film Christine and David, who are living their best life far away from the drama. And then there's yet another crew that travels to North Carolina to film Janelle and her kids. That's 3 locations, 3 full sets of schedules, flights, hotels, and daily production costs. And anyone in the TV industry will tell you that's not cheap. The longer those cameras roll, the more the bills climb. Now, here's something most viewers don't realize. Sister Wives isn't produced directly by TLC. It's handled by Figure 8 Films, the same company that's based in North Carolina. So while the logistics are tough, that location actually gives them one small advantage. It's easier and probably cheaper for the crew to film Janelle's segments since they're already close by. Still, when you add up all those travel costs, Flagstaff, Utah, North Carolina, it's easy to see why the show feels stretched thin. Every hour of footage costs more than it ever has before. And that might explain why TLC keeps trying to force that family reunion storyline. One set, one shoot, one happy ending. That's a lot cheaper than juggling 3 separate lives. And of course, all that constant travel, crews, flying in and out, building temporary sets for interviews, resetting lighting, renting new spaces, it all adds up. The cost of keeping Sister Wives alive right now is higher than it ever has before. Every city they film in means new hotel bills, new gear, transport, new staff hours. It's not just one big set anymore. It's multiple mini productions happening all across the country. So when Christine talks about how exhausting it feels, about hating the questions, the filming, the constant reminders of Kody, you can kind of understand it. The whole process has become a massive, expensive grind. But here's the thing, she's still doing it. They're all still doing it. Despite the frustration, the travel, the awkward tell-alls, they're still under those production lights. And that's where fans start asking the real questions. Because according to several reports, season 20 was supposed to mark the end of the original Sister Wives contract. That was the deal that carried them through years of drama, breakups, and family splits. So if TLC moves forward with season 21, and let's be honest, the rumors say they already are, that would mean new contracts have been signed, and that changes everything. It means Christine, Janelle, Robyn, and even Kody all agreed to come back. Whether it's for closure, control of their narrative, or the paycheck, it's a conscious choice. So yes, Christine might be upset about the questions, the editing, or even how the story is told. But at the end of the day, they're still part of the show. And as long as those cameras keep rolling, TLC is going to keep telling the story their way. Let's rewind a little back to December 11th, 2022. That tell-all was huge. It was the moment everything changed for the Sister Wives world. Christine had officially left Kody. The family was fractured, the truth was out, and fans could finally see what had been bubbling under the surface for years. At that point, Janelle and Mary were still technically in it, but you could feel it. The entire Brown family dynamic was collapsing right before our eyes. That tell-all episode pulled in 2.1 million viewers. That's massive, especially for TLC. Everyone tuned in to watch Christine stand her ground, to see Kody lose control of the narrative, and to witness the cracks in the so-called spiritual marriage that had once defined their lives. It was emotional, raw, and unfiltered, the kind of television that made Sister Wives a cultural phenomenon in the first place. Fast forward to the following year, August 20th, 2023, when season 18 premiered, fans were still invested, still curious to see how the family was handling the fallout. The premiere brought in 1.74 million viewers, and the finale stayed strong at 1.7 million. Those numbers were huge for TLC. It proved that even in chaos, people couldn't look away. But then came season 19, and everything shifted.
By now, the separation was complete. Janelle had left, Mary was done, Christine was remarried and moving on. The Sister Wives weren't even wives anymore. It wasn't about a plural marriage. It was about one man and the wreckage he left behind. And when the cameras rolled for the season 19 premiere, the numbers told the story. Only 937,000 viewers tuned in, less than half of what the show once pulled in. For a series that used to draw millions every Sunday night, that's a serious drop. The interest is fading, and the audience knows it. The magic that once made Sister Wives so compelling, the family connection, the shared lives, the chaos that still somehow felt like love, it's just not there anymore. And if TLC is looking at those ratings, you can bet they're worried. Because when a reality show starts costing more than it earns, no matter how famous it is, the clock starts ticking. And that's the problem, isn't it? Every new season that rolls out, the audience just keeps shrinking, bit by bit, episode after episode. At first, everyone came back because they wanted to see the breakup. They wanted to see the women walk away, reclaim their lives, and finally free themselves from Kova's control. That was the story. The empowerment, the closure, the drama. And for a while, that worked. The ratings stayed strong because people wanted to see Christine win. They wanted to see Janelle speak her truth. They wanted to see Mary finally admit that it was over. But now that moment's passed. The divorce has happened. The family split. Everyone's living separate lives. And viewers are left asking the same question the cast seems to be asking themselves. Why are we still here? Because the reality is, there's no family anymore. There's no plural marriage, no shared home, no united storyline. It's become a show about a man sitting in one house while his ex-wives rebuild their lives miles away. The emotional core that once kept people watching just isn't there anymore. And that's what makes season 20 feel so different. Fans are starting to tune out, not because they don't care, but because they don't know what's left to care about. And the irony, the cast feels the same way. Christine has said she hates it. Kody's called it toxic. Even Janelle's been open about how draining the filming process has become. It's like everyone, from the stars to the viewers, is trapped in this strange limbo, wondering why they're still showing up for a story that's already ended. At this point, Sister Wives doesn't feel like a family reality show anymore. It feels like a slow goodbye. And now, heading into next week's episode, things are about to take a very familiar turn. We're about to see Kody and Robyn pull what looks like their latest fresh start storyline. On the surface, it's being sold as a new chapter, a new home, a reset, a way to rebuild. But behind the scenes, it looks more like a financial move, a toxic dump of a property that they're conveniently tying to money and legal maneuvering around child support. Fans are already talking, and they're not buying the fresh start narrative. They're calling it what it is, a strategy. One more attempt for Kody and Robyn to twist the financial fallout of his broken family into something that benefits them. But that's not all that's coming in this next episode. We're also going to see Mykelti and Tony's big move. And this one actually carries some real heart. The couple recently opened up about it on their Patreon, and even though Mykelti had lost her voice during the live stream, she still shared some powerful insight. She revealed that the real reason she and Tony moved from St. George to Lehigh wasn't just about their own family's convenience, it was about Christine. Mykelti said she wanted her mom to see that Utah could still be home, that she didn't need to stay trapped in the shadow of her father, and that she could finally step away from the polygamous world that had defined so much of her life. So Tony and Mykelti found a place near Lehigh, close enough for Christine to feel grounded, supported, and safe in her new chapter. That move wasn't just logistics, it was a lifeline. It was Mykelti helping her mom adjust to freedom, showing her what life outside of Kody's orbit could really look like. And for a show that's built on so much tension and heartbreak, that's one of the few truly uplifting things to come out of this new era. While Kody and Robyn are chasing fresh starts built on old patterns, Christine's family is helping her build something real. And when Mykelti talked about that time, that transition period, it hit a nerve. Because she wasn't just moving houses, she was carrying her mom through one of the hardest chapters of her life. She described that season as one of the most emotionally draining times she's ever lived through. She said in her own words that she felt more like Christine's mom than Christine's daughter. Instead of leaning on her mother for support, she was the one holding everything together, making sure Christine stayed grounded, that she didn't slip back into the chaos that she had just escaped from. It's heartbreaking when you think about it. McKelty wasn't just cheering her mom on, she was parenting her emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. She became the caretaker in a situation where she was supposed to still be someone's child. And that kind of emotional role reversal doesn't come without a cost. McKelty admitted that during that time, she poured so much of herself into helping her mom heal that it started to take a toll on her own marriage. She said it felt like every ounce of her energy went into keeping Christine strong and stable. But at the same time, her relationship with Tony was starting to strain. Because no matter how strong your heart is, you can't be a wife, a mom, and a parent to your own mother at all once. That kind of pressure breaks something inside you, even if it's out of love. And hearing McKelty say that, you can't help but feel both admiration and sadness. Admiration for her strength, but sadness that she had to step into a role no daughter should ever have to fill. But of course, that kind of emotional weight doesn't just disappear. After months of carrying her mom through heartbreak and change, McKelty started to break under the pressure herself. She and Tony started to struggle. Their marriage hit some rough spots, not because they didn't love each other, but because the balance had completely shifted. McKelty had been so focused on Christine's healing that she barely had time to nurture her own family. She's admitted that during that period, she didn't feel like the best version of herself. Not as a wife, not even as a mom. Every day felt like she was trying to juggle her own home while still managing the emotional aftershocks of her mom's divorce. Eventually, she realized something had to change. Christine was finally finding her footing again, starting to smile, starting to breathe, starting to live without the shadow of Kody looming over her. And that's when McKelty had her turning point. She saw that her mom didn't need rescuing anymore. Christine had found her strength again. She had found David, and that changed everything. Once David entered Christine's life, there was this calm that fans hadn't seen in years. Christine wasn't surviving anymore. She was thriving. She was laughing again, glowing, rediscovering who she was outside of polygamy, outside of pain. And that gave McKelty permission to finally step back. She didn't have to be the protector, the emotional anchor, or the stand-in Karen anymore. She could finally focus on her own little family, on Tony, on her kids, and on building the life she had put on hold. So they packed up, made the move, and started fresh. And in the middle of all that, you can't help but feel proud of both women. McKelty for letting go, and Christine for finally being free. And honestly, it's those little moments that really show how different Christine's life is now. Because get this, she and David actually got into a whole playful fight about a squeegee. Yes, a shower squeegee. Apparently, David likes to keep the shower spotless, while Christine, well, not so much. So the debate turns into this hilarious flirty back and forth about who's supposed to clean the glass. But instead of turning into some tense argument like what we used to see between Kody and the wives, this one ends with laughter. Christine described how David, who's in his 60s, suddenly turns into this playful, mischievous guy. He starts chasing her around the bathroom like a teenager, laughing, teasing, and eventually tackling her in the most innocent, goofy way. He actually pushes her into the shower just so she'll get wet. And of course, so he can win the squeegee war. It's silly, it's tender, and honestly, it's exactly what fans love seeing. Because after years of watching Christine fight for basic affection, now we're watching her giggle like a girl with a crush. It's the kind of joy you can't fake. The kind that comes from finally being with someone who treats you like you matter, who makes you feel safe enough to laugh again. And it's funny because that little shower story says more about Christine's new life than any big interview or statement ever could. She's not surviving anymore. She's just living. Then Christine opened up about something a lot of fans were curious about: how Truly and David are really getting along now that they're all living together full time. She said the relationship has good days and bad days. Some days things click. There's laughter, warmth, a sense of family. But other days it's still a work in progress. And honestly, that's completely normal. Truly spent years living in a home where it was just her and her mom. Suddenly, there's this new person in the house, a man, a stepdad figure, and that takes time to adjust to. Christine admitted that both she and Truly are still figuring out what it means to share their space, their routines, and their lives with someone new. It's a whole different rhythm than what they were used to. And that honesty, that vulnerability is what fans love about her. She doesn't pretend everything is perfect. Then David jumped in and got real. He talked about how men deal with emotions and how sometimes those emotions get bottled up. He said that anger, frustration, and even sadness can pile up inside until it comes out the wrong way. And you could tell he wasn't making excuses. He was being honest about something a lot of men go through. He mentioned how for guys, that kind of emotional pressure is often tied to testosterone. And yeah, it's real. That intensity, that drive can sometimes twist into anger if it's not released in a healthy way. But what made David's comments stand out is how self-aware it was. He wasn't justifying it, he was acknowledging it. And that's a huge difference from what we saw for years with Kody, who never seemed to take responsibility for how his emotions impacted his family. David, on the other hand, is openly talking about it. And that's what growth looks like. So while Truly and David are still learning each other's rhythms, there's an honesty and emotional maturity in that home now that fans haven't seen in this family for a long time. Christine absolutely hates having to talk about Kody. Every time his name comes up, you can just see the frustration on her face. And honestly, can you blame her? She's built this whole new life. She's moved on. She's happy. And yet every interview, every sit down, someone still drags his name into it. Meanwhile, at home, she and David are living their best goofy domestic life. They're out here arguing about a shower squeegee. Like seriously, it's the most normal, relatable couple thing ever. They bicker over cleaning the shower, then laugh about it, then go right back to being cute. And here's the fun part. They build Legos together. But anyway, back to the point. With all of this going on, I can't help but wonder, how much longer can Sister Wives even hold on? The ratings keep dropping season after season. TLC's overall numbers have been sliding, and cable TV in general is losing audiences fast as everyone moves to streaming. And maybe that's why Kody's out here doing special forces, trying to reinvent himself, trying to grab some sympathy points. But wow, last night's episode, brutal. Kody was not a team player. He was grouped with two women and completely ignored them. Zero teamwork, zero awareness. It was classic Kody. All ego, no accountability. So yeah, what do you think? Is this show finally about to hit bottom? Or will TLC try to squeeze one more season out of this chaos? Drop your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.